Yeah, it's right here.
Okay, good. All right. You guys should all now have this sheet with the assignment. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually taking and doing a real world assessment. This is one of the assessments out of the Red Book that was recommended at the beginning of the class as to one of the things we use a lot of. I have X'd out some portions within the survey. You do not have to do those, obviously. And in this first section, I wrote the word activity. It's in the general section, part C. It says attitude toward recreational therapy / activity. With this particular group, that the main group that you have the opportunity to work with, the activity is not labeled as recreational therapy. It is offered as a program, just a program that people can join. In fact, I gave the description on the first page. It's a program designed for individuals 55 plus to maintain a healthy standard of physical activity, mobility, and social interaction in an aquatic setting. It's what we do in TR without saying you're coming to TR, okay? But it's a good group to come in, and that are the sections that are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 11:45. I highly recommend that if you're gonna come. The other two options are really just if you absolutely can't make it on one of those days. There are Monday, Wednesday, 2 to 2:45, and if you, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I got you. Might be handy for
Yeah, it would be very handy to know this. The 2 to 2:45, as I was starting to say, is an EL 169, 269 class, which is really cool. And I do some things that are similar because whenever I'm in the water with people and when I'm in the water with my classes, I'm going to take some of these assessment ideas that we work with. I'm looking at my students. I'm trying to see what's going on. I kind of tailor our activities to that. If you absolutely cannot make any of those times, you can contact me via email and we can arrange something.
Try very hard to make one of those times.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I'm being very nice and donating my time to you guys. So really try to get those other times in. Now, it is due by April 6th. Do not wait to those last couple of days to do it, especially because we talked about that we wouldn't be in class April 2nd, right? Was the day?
Yeah, the first. It's the day before Good Friday. We're going to go ahead and take off since we're doing this activity. That's your trade-off for doing this out-of-class activity. We're going to take that and give you a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, which means I probably won't be there, and I'm not available that weekend because I'm going to be going to see my family. I've had my shots. I can finally go see my dad. You guys cannot convince me to stay. So sorry, but you know, normally I'll bend over backwards for students. You've got 5 things to turn in. You have to turn in this assessment, okay? You've got the original, Mr. Brasher's got a scan of this that, you know, you could pull down from a blackboard or something and redo it, but you have to make sure that you have the name of the person that you are talking to and assessing. All right, unit and admit, you don't have to worry about those. Date of birth, don't really have to worry about that, okay? But make sure you have on there the name of the person that you are assessing, and at the top, put your name, okay? Put your name on this. So you'll turn in that assessment. Some of these sections you may have a hard time, you know, it might be something new for you. The way you improve doing assessments is by doing assessments. So if there's something that you may kind of see the group doing but not understand how to assess it, response to group structure. Has anybody ever worked with that before? I see one person nodding ahead. So the rest of you guys might not understand that. So do your best to mark on there, and then when you're doing your write-up, you may have to say, you know, I really didn't understand this part of the assessment. And that'd be useful for you, and that would also be useful for your grade, which that could be part of your assessment of your patient participant. All right. See if you can identify a goal and objective that you're going to observe that I'm doing. You may need to talk with me and say, you know, I think I observed something, you know, it seemed like you were doing this. I don't know if that would be a goal or objective. And I'll be glad to help you. All right. I talk a lot if you guys haven't figured that out. Then write your evaluation. Do you think the activity was meeting the goal? And again, ask questions. One of the things with this is that I will tell you for number 4, you will see, depending on which day you're there, when we're in the deep end, we have one gentleman who's there who doesn't have real good range of motion with his arm when it's going back, and he keeps it bent. And so you'll see I'll modify the activity and talk to him about range of motion, you know, doing a different move. When we're in the shallow water, we have someone who has really bad arthritis. And so I make lots of modifications for her. And you can kind of, as you watch, you'll see that the overall goal for the activity might be range of motion, but I'm doing something different with some of the people. So as you're looking at your person you're evaluating, you can kind of note that. And for the last one, you can either say, you can just give an idea. If you say, well, I don't think it met the goal, you can't leave it at that. You have to say why. I do think it met the goal because of this, or I don't think it met the goal because of that, okay? And this would be what I would change. And that's perfectly okay. You know, it's one of those, it's your opinion, but think about the things you've learned, because you're going to be moving toward making this. They say lots of different ways to skin a cat. Lots of different ways to accomplish the goals and objectives that you're going to have with any of your activities. If you have any questions, you have my email on there. Does anybody have any questions right now?
I think I'm going to make an executive decision on this, because we have it for, initially we'd written down 50 points for this assignment. I think we'll make it 75 and make it 25 for your, the actual assessment, and 10 points apiece for those 5 questions. So make sure you fill out the assessment as fully and as best you can. And does that sound good to you? Does that make sense as far as grading? I mean, I know it's, I don't want to make it 50 points for filling out the thing. It's not worth that. But 25 is good. And 10 points apiece for the other, that'll give you 75 points.
Yeah.
Should be easy assignment, just other than the fact of getting there, okay?
And yeah, and definitely if it comes down to it and you can't get there, won't be an easy assessment when you're doing with me. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be easy.
So like she said, and like I said a minute ago, try very hard if you can to make it during those times that are listed. There's a pretty good many options still available. I know that everybody has crazy schedules and things going on. If you just absolutely can't, then like she said, send her an email, try to set up a alternate arrangement. Now for class today, we're going to do something a little different. You may have seen on the announcements I shared the video that we were going to watch. I actually have 3 of them that We're gonna watch. 2 of them are a little longer than normal. Guys, stay awake and watch these videos, because the last 2 that we watch are gonna be what we're gonna do in class next time live. So I don't want you coming in here not knowing what to do, because then I'm gonna be frustrated, because this goes very much through what's gonna be covered.
Did you say are we doing that next class or next Tuesday?
I was planning on doing it next class, but you can come by sometime and we'll do it. Like
Okay.
y'all two can, we can do it y'all two can do it together.
Okay.
Actually, it takes a partner for it, and you'll see that during this thing. So that would be a perfect thing. It's a situation where I can get you the paperwork to do it. Y'all two that aren't here on Thursdays can do it together and just turn it in to me, just to show me you did it. It's not going to be something everybody's going to turn in, but I just need to see that y'all two do it. So let me share screen and hope that I have what I'm looking for open here. Nope. Now, give me a moment on the ones watching the video. Just want to go home. Oh. Go to edit to do this.
The checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond. This is the kitchen where the new boy.
This one is just one that shows a lot of different types of, reasonings for. I don't know if I shared the screen, did I? I don't believe I did. Okay. This is about
Welcome
pediatrics.
to Cleveland Clinic Children's Hospital for Rehabilitation. We are honored that you have chosen Cleveland Clinic to care for your child. Our goal is to teach children the skills they need to fully participate in the world when they leave the hospital. We know that this can be a scary time for you and your child. This video.
Okay, I'm gonna break it up for just a second. While you're watching this, just kind of think to yourself how many things you see being assessed in this video. Okay, we're like 30, I'm just gonna back it up to like 20. I want y'all to just kind of watch and see how many things you think they could actually be getting information that could be useful in figuring out what they want to do with their patients, okay? That's what I thought was interesting about this clip.
To care for your child. Our goal is to teach children the skills they need to fully participate in the world when they leave the hospital. We know that this can be a scary time for you and your child. This video is designed to provide you with important information about the rehabilitation team that will be taking care of your child and what you and your child should expect from the hospital stay. We will also be advising you on what to do when your child is ready to be discharged from the hospital to go home.
I hate it when this happens.
Your child will be seen by several members of the rehabilitation team. Depending on his or her needs, the team may include the medical team, the nursing team, patient care managers, psychologists, social workers, educators, therapists, and other specialists. The medical team works together to determine your child's needs and develop care plans for rehabilitation. Physiatrists, who are also known as rehabilitation specialists, will oversee your child's care, including therapies, medications, and any alternative therapies that might be needed. Nurse practitioners will help coordinate your child's care between the medical team, which also includes pediatricians and residents and other caregivers. The medical team will go on rounds each morning with all members of the rehabilitation team.
Hey, y'all see the interdisciplinary team, and y'all have heard me by this point in all of our classes talking about, that was another thing that I thought was interesting in this clip that I wanted y'all to see. They basically named out an interdisciplinary team for their specific facility. You know, doctors, nurses, therapists, you know, they went through the whole list. That's where you all sit around, you all come up with a plan that is going to, when put all together from all facets, once everybody has their parts in, it's going to cumulatively help the patient the most. So that was important too from this.
You are encouraged to attend and ask questions at any time during your child's stay. The nursing team carefully observes the patient and updates the medical team as needed. Your child's nursing team is made up of registered nurses.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because this is kind of long.
To work closely with the patient, child, and family in the process.
Who do we have here?
Psychologists provide emotional support to the child and family in the process of rehabilitation. They address adjustment to illness or injury.
She was assessing right then.
Behavioral supports and planning for transition to home, school, and community environments. Social workers act as an advocate and provide support to the patient and family members throughout the hospital stay. Social workers connect the family to community resources and help.
Sorry for the skipping, but we're going to skip some of this stuff. If it's going to work, I don't know what just happened.
Also work with the rehabilitation team on the school reentry process. Your child may be seen by different therapists while he or she is in the hospital. These therapists may include physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, recreational therapists, and respiratory therapists. Physical therapists focus on improving the child's mobility or ability to move, including walking, transfers, and bed mobility. By focusing on regaining strength, balance, and coordination, the child can work on walking or finding other means of mobility. Physical therapists also help adapt equipment to improve a child's movements. Occupational therapists focus on helping the patient regain as much strength and endurance as possible. Occupational therapists help the patient relearn life skills such as dressing, grooming, eating, bathing, and going to the bathroom. Occupational therapists will also help the patient with coordination and fine motor skills, such as picking up a pen or a fork.
How many of the things that the OT and PT were doing could you see recreation therapy using as well? Most, all of that, maybe making a little bit more of a game out of some of it or something perhaps. But, you know, like with the rings, but trying to get mobility, learning how to go up and down steps appropriately, and things like that. It goes to show you that we're really not all that different and that we're all wanting the same benefits. We just go about it in a different way.
Speech language pathologists work with the child and family in the areas of feeding, swallowing, communication, and cognitive functioning, including difficulty speaking and or understanding language, attention, memory, and problem solving. Recreational therapists work with inpatients to create structured activities that focus on coping, leisure education, social interaction, and activities of daily living. Recreational therapy focuses on community re-entry skills, decreasing agitation, and increasing communication skills. Inpatients may also take part in group activities with recreational therapy throughout the hospital stay.
All right, I'm going to stop there on this one. They talk about a little bit in this video also, and something that we will cover before the end of this class, probably a little bit in this one and a little bit in the 372 class for those of you that are in that one as well, that in future, in past semesters, I've kind of missed a little bit of this information, but it's super important. When we get done with patients, like at a situation like this, when they're done, their time is up, they've gone through their rehabilitation, do we just say, all right, good job, see ya? Is that what we need to do? No, I mean, we need to do the first part. All right, good job. Here's some ideas for you to do when you go home. From what you've shown us here, you know, it looks like you could still work on this. This is the way that you could do this in the home setting. You give them a discharge summary, which is something that you have to do when your patient is discharged, which gives them some, you know, it's a type of evaluation. You know, you evaluate, assess where they are at that stage, and you give them the important information that they need when they leave to be successful when they're not under your care. So that was something else I wanted you to get from this little video that mattered, you know, as far as the rest of the semester, and something that I want to cover is the discharge summaries. So let's go to this next part, and they are actually it's about, have any of y'all ever heard of the Johari window? You're about to. God. Okay. Now, again, hang in there, because this stuff isn't just going to rock your world and just get you super pumped up, but it's a good little tool, and it is an assessment, and you'll see how you could use it with recreation therapy patients to get them to interact, to look into their own psyche, to see how they're viewed by other people. It's pretty interesting overall concept in videos. So there's this one that kind of tells you about it, and then there's another one that goes a little bit more in depth about how it can be used. And they're talking about in doing like group projects. I want you to think of it in terms of as working with recreation therapy groups, because this can be generalized with the workforce as well, but it also can be used with people that we would work with in recreation therapy. So let me share screen again and go to here and make it big.
Talking you through the Johari window theories. Now, I'm going to break this episode up into two parts. The first is going to focus on what the Johari window actually is and how it was originally designed to work. And then the second video will be about how you can apply Johari window method of thinking to understanding the scope of larger projects. Now, this theory was developed by psychologists in 1955, and the purpose of it was to understand different relationships. It compares the things you know about yourself and the things you don't know about yourself but other people do, and then it also identifies the things that neither you have visibility on nor do other people. And the way it does this is by comparing a list of 56 adjectives. Now that list, we're not going to go through all 56 items, but I'm going to give you an example of how the theory is used. So let's get stuck into the Johari window model. And I've got a couple of slides that I'll be flicking through while I talk you through it. So this is the window, and basically you've got things that are known to you, things that are not known to you, things that are known to others, things that are not known to others, and it's a little matrix. So the things that you know and other people know are defined as the arena. That's the information that's out in the open. The things that are known to you but are not known to other people are called a facade. Sometimes it's given other names, but the idea is that this is the stuff that you have chosen not to disclose to other people. Now, if you don't know about something, but everyone else can see that it's true, that's the blind spot. So it's your blind spot. And then the fourth quadrant is things that you don't know and things that other people don't know. So they're
Do you understand the quadrants? You know, like it's this one is known to others, but not known to you. That's your blind spot. Like you have to follow these two, you know about them, but other people don't, and other people do in this one. So just kind of follow that. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. I'm just making sure you're following that.
Now, the way Johari's principle works, so remember it's all about understanding yourself and understanding other people and, providing a foundation for building better relationships in the workplace. So the way it works is it's actually an activity where you've got a subject, which will be yourself, and you'll be one of your peers. Now, what you do is from the list of 56 adjectives, and you can Google them to find out what they are, it's quite a long list of them, you will pick all of the things from that list that describes yourself. And then your peer will do exactly the same thing. They'll be picking all of the adjectives that they think describe you. Okay, so the purpose of this activity is focused on one person, subject, and the peer also focuses on things that describe that subject. Then what you do is go through a process of comparing those two lists to see where they differ. So in this case, we've started off with the things that are the same between what the subject perceives to be their own attributes and what their peers also perceive to be their attributes. So commonalities get put in this quadrant called the arena, and here you can see there's 5 items that are common between two lists. Then the next step is to take all the things that.
So the arena is how you see yourself and others see you in common terms.
Subject identified as being characteristics of themselves, but that their peer didn't think described them very well. So those things are all items that get listed in the facade. They're all things that even though the subject thinks that they describe themselves, they put forward a facade that is different to those items. And the third one is the blind spot. So those are all the things that the peer has perceived about the subject, but that the subject doesn't necessarily believe to be true about themselves. And then what you'll notice is that that's taking account of everything on both lists. So the things that aren't captured by either party, those are the true unknowns. Now, how can you improve? Because, having this information is interesting, but the purpose is to improve your relationships. So, and the idea is to expand the arena. So expand the things that are true about yourself that other people also perceive, because that contributes to an increased understanding between people. So the next question is, how do you actually increase that window to push things so that you know more about the things that other people perceive about you, you can ask them for feedback. For you to provide more information to others, that they see more of what you see in yourself, is to disclose and talk more to other people, share a bit, to push into that unknown territory. You can both explore together, to ask questions, no question. It's about shared discovery. You can actually ask your peer to observe your behaviour more thoroughly and see whether they can't increase the list of characteristics that they would use to describe you. And then the final one is actually embarking on self-discovery so that you can reveal more of those unknowns to yourself. So there's always going to be that little unknown window, but the idea is to push the boundaries further and further into that unknown territory, so that you shed light on more and more of it, have a better understanding of yourself, other people have a better understanding of who you are, and all that strengthens relationships. So that's what I wanted to say about Johari's window. That's a 5-minute introduction. It was only designed to be quick. I think you understand the basic concept based on what I've said. You can definitely read more about it online. Tune in for the next video.
All right, who would this maybe be good for? What kind of groups that we work with in recreation? Yeah, clients with intellectual disabilities, it could be good because it stimulates thought process about, people who need to self-reflect, who kind of want to learn, not just what do I think about myself, but how do other people see me? And sometimes it ties into what we talked about in 372 for the ones of you who were in there. We talk about social skills. It may clear up some, it would be good for people who are having issues with social skills because they could see, I feel like this is what I'm putting out there, but other people don't see me as this way. They see me as this other way. So this is not your basic normal type form of assessment, but it's kind of a good assessment / activity that it gives you some knowledge moving forward. So I'm going to stop sharing on this one. We're going to look at this last one and then we're going to get out of here. Okay. So let me go out of that, back to this. Over to here, up to there, right here.
So welcome back.
Pause. Here. Share. We're 2/3 of the way through. I'm actually getting kind of good at getting this stuff shared on the.
So on Johari's window, this is legal logic.
Little more idea of how you can kind of use it with your groups.
Window theory to understanding the scope of a major project. So in the last episode, we talked about how you could expand the arena area of the Johari framework to better understand the characteristics that you have that other people can see and observe, and the other things that people can observe about you that you weren't necessarily aware of, and overall how to increase your understanding of who you are and how you're perceived, and use that to build relationships with other people. Okay. Now that was the original purpose of Johari's window. What we're going to do now is apply that to projects. So as I said in the last episode, this is not the intended application of Johari's window, but I think it's a really interesting thought exercise to do because there are a lot of similarities between trying to understand yourself and understand people and trying to understand projects and project scope and what you're trying to achieve. I think if you think about projects in this way, you might actually add value. We'll just step through it slowly and.
Or think about group dynamics and doing activities and having your group come together as one, and you'll kind of, by doing this, people can see whether, you know, where they could kind of make some changes maybe to increase their box and fit in more and be more helpful, because people may see someone as like a lion, you know, a type A, because of just the way they come across, and they may need to explain to the group, you know, like, look, that's not me, you know, and it kind of gets identified through this, and it makes your group more cohesive. It makes your, you know, things that you do as a, you know, as a teamwork type situations are going to work better when people understand their roles. And this helps you to find kind of how you're seen and define your role within a group or within a project that you're trying to do.
Yeah, comment if you disagree with any of the points I'm making. With any project, you need to make sure that you understand the scope as well as you possibly can before you launch in and start delivering it. Okay, so you can think of a project as having things you know about it, things that other people know that you don't know, things that you know that other people don't know that you might need to communicate. And this is particularly relevant to getting stakeholders on board, for example. And then there are things that neither you nor the stakeholders know about the project, but are still relevant. And obviously having large unknowns with a project is not a good thing. So you want to try and
the part she just covered right there, I like to think of that in terms of you being the leader of an activity. He's talking about, you know, things that you know that they don't know, things like that you would need to share and get them on board with what you're doing. She gets, actually, the main thing I wanted you guys to see on this one was how to do the Johari window. The next class, I wanted to get your stuff back to you. I wanted to go back over this, you know, get the aquatics information out to all you guys. We're going to do, all right, ding, 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 wake up, listen. Abbreviations test number 2 will be 1 week from today. Next Tuesday, we will do another abbreviations quiz. So prepare for that. And basically, she went about as far as I needed to go on that second one. I just wanted you to see a little bit about how you could tie in a project with a group dynamic is basically the way I was looking at that. So when you come in on Thursday, we're going to probably do the Johari window. I will get probably some background information for you. The, what was it, 75 as 56. What's different? 19. The 56 adjectives, and then let you guys partner up and actually do that activity and just kind of see what we learn. You know, like, this is what people think. Now, it would work better, or I don't know about better. You guys have a limited idea about everybody in here, but you can get some overall vibes, you know, of how someone is, and it might make it actually kind of fun with trying to kind of guess from the little bit that you do know about everybody. So that's what we're going to start with next class. We'll talk about how to do it. I'll bring the stuff to do it. So be prepared for that. And you can start back looking over your abbreviation stuff for the test. We'll do another quiz, like 30 again. Same thing next week. Good? Anybody have any questions, thoughts? Are y'all sad we're gonna get out?
I have a question about the assessment on the water activity. I'm not sure how to fill out this assessment. Maybe it's difficult, but like where it has numbers on one side and then multiple boxes on the right, you fill them in.
Julie, can you help him look at that real quick when we can just cut it? just in case you were confused, it won't hurt for everybody to see it.
And if you look on that first page, you can take, there's 5 under general, A through E, okay? And it's gonna tell you attendance. Well, did they, and you're gonna fill out the first column, is how you're doing your information.
You're not doing the whole, all the columns all the way across. You're doing
Yeah.
one column.
The rest of the columns will be if you repeated this. So, did they attend? Did they come in late or did they leave early? You're not gonna have absent, without cause. Well, you may, because sometimes we talk about, we get text from somebody and they'll come in and they'll say, hey, such and such was absent or something like that, or they were absent yesterday. You're not gonna get a rarely attend, or you're not gonna get a never attend. So you're gonna mark for attend, you're gonna mark 0, 1, 2, 3, and you'll mark that box. Then you'll go down to the next section.
Question down
Before
here.
you move forward, I'm sorry. So are we only, so like for attendance, we'll just put one box on the card, right?
One box
Okay,
out of
that
5.
makes
Yeah, one box out of 5.
Yeah, 1 out of those 5, and you're only doing the first. All those others would be for the next time, and the next time, and the next time. Just, it's gonna be one assessment, so just one row. Or one column that
Yeah,
you'll have to do.
for each of those sections, you only have 5 questions. And in those questions, you only have to pick. It's like you have multiple choice, but instead of, going horizontal, like you're usually. Yeah. We're not like gonna actually sit down, like it looks like we're just like watching them and filling this out, right? It's not gonna be like sit down. You know how you go up and talk to the person that you choose? That's why I'm requiring you to give their name. Yeah.
And just say, hey, I'm here for a class. We're doing some hands-on observation. Just pretend I'm not even here.
Ask their permission.
Right, get their permission.
Everybody already said that they'll do it, but I have a couple of people that may not remember. So, and that's something if you'll hear me talk to them, that might be something you should know. Those kind of obvious for the person you have. Multiple choice is just horizontal.